And we are live. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of A Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon. I am one of the bearded half of the Curmudgeons, Mr. Bill Adams. And on this side, you switched me up this time, Dewey. Confuse me. Is my buddy Dewey Conway.
Hello,
Hello, Dewey.
everybody.
Hi, Dewey. And then today we have a very special guest, for me specifically. Sam Parrish is an indie author, but she is also one of my longtime writing friends. I met her around the exact same time as Mr. Dewey Conway. We became critique partners and just talked about books for the last almost 8 years at this point, which is crazy. What the hell? So yes.
Aged everyone so bad.
Right, I'm sorry. So Sam, welcome to our show. Please introduce yourself a little bit to our audience that might show up in the chat or on replay.
Yeah. I feel like I'm in like job interviews, like tell everybody your name and 3 fun facts.
Exactly.
And I never have fun facts because I'm so boring.
I beg to differ, but I'm not going to say that for you.
Well, I always find it's in these situations where people ask you, "Tell us about yourself." It's always, you're a writer. You can make it up. No one's going to follow up on it. So make it big. Make it or as small as you want. Big or small of a story as you want.
I really I hate talking about. I'm telling y'all, I'm terrible at interviews. I hate talking about myself. But yeah, writer. I've been learning violin. That's not related to books, but probably the only other big interesting thing that I have going on.
Okay, well, Sam, I'll help you. You are the writer of these 3 books here.
That's true.
That are called When the World Starts to Fray, book 1 of, and it's Anagovia. I always pronounce it wrong. The Anagovia series. When the Threads Unravel. And just recently, late last year, When the Void Splits the Realm. So Sam is an author. These are her books.
Yeah.
Say hi, books.
Those are my children.
Those are your children?
Those are my children.
That's awesome. And so I've done a little bit of just looking at your books. Can you tell us about, what are they? Are they? I think they're epic fantasy, right? So
yes.
So you're an epic fantasy writer. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Well, so are y'all. But yeah, they're really they were inspired by Dungeons and Dragons because I've played D&D since I was in high school, and the actual the first iteration, the first book started when I was 18 or 19 years old, and I had just read a ton of R. Salvatore's books, and Rich Jordan and the Icewind Dale trilogy and stuff, and I was obsessed with the idea, and I still don't know how he then the deal where he was writing fiction set in the Forgotten Realms campaign setting, and his characters are in the campaign books, and they're canon in the D&D universe. So when I first started the idea for the Anagovia trilogy, it was set in Forgotten Realms, and I was wanting to write like that. And got 5 chapters into it, and then you peter out and you get distracted, and I didn't have an outline, and it just died until I think 2016 when a friend of mine told me about NaNoWriMo, and I was like, well, I have this. I'll just pull it out and do it. And it was garbage. And then everything I wrote that month was garbage.
Hey, start somewhere, right?
Oh, it was rough. But that's how they got started, and then it's had 3 different magic systems and everything before it ever even came out. It was just it took forever. I feel like the first books always take the longest.
Well, because you got to
for just
build
about everybody.
everything out, flesh it
Yeah.
out, create
Yeah.
the world, create the systems, all that good stuff. So was Leor always the main character then, like in your Forgotten
She
Realm
was.
version?
Yeah. She had a different name. I don't even remember what it was anymore, but it was always her. And then there was always Hashkin. And I don't think Emmond was there originally. I think there was another idea that I had that there was going to be a bigger party. I don't think he was involved in it, but it was always Leor and Hashkin.
Well, at least
and so it's this book, right? So this is your first book, and this is where the characters are all introduced, and this was inspired by your D&D background, because we have some folks in the chat, I think, maybe, that are D&D players.
Yeah, we got a lot of players. Alex is one of them, so he has a good question. What legally distinct aspects did you have to change to make it publishable?
I changed everything. Yeah, so I changed everything. It like completely had to make up a whole another world, a whole everything. Hi, Dave.
We won't mention that he's your client right now.
I'm sorry.
We love Dave. We just make fun of him, or I do. Dewey doesn't.
Some of us more than others. Yeah. But still using classic fantasy races. So yeah, like Leor is what? An elf?
She's an elf. Yeah.
Okay.
So some of them, but I mean, there's elves everywhere at this point. I think in the original, like when I wrote it way back when, I had goblins and orcs still. I made up things, but
as you do, you have to.
Yeah. I think the elves was the only like classic fantasy race that stuck around.
Well, yeah, because I don't think you have any other ones besides the Zudak, or that's not.
Well, there's those, and then there's book 2 stuff.
Well, yeah. So. Dewey, we have to start. Bring up the scale.
Okay.
We skipped. So, Sam, we have a thing we usually start with. This show is called A Schmudgeon of Curmudgeon.
Yes.
So,
and there's a reason for it. Let me
see, now he's going to get mad because he didn't even have it ready. Professionals. We promise we're professionals.
I do have it ready. It takes a minute to click. Okay. Here we go. So this is what we do. I don't know if you've ever seen on one of our shows before, Sam, but we rank ourselves on our scale of the day, how we're feeling as a curmudgeon. And so typically, 0 would represent, for me anyway, it would represent I can deal with the day for the most part. And then 10 is, I don't want to see anybody. So 0 can be for you great mood. 10 can be like
we can have it be lore specific. A 0 is Iman, and 10 is Leor when Hashcan's trying to flirt with her. Okay.
Yeah. Sure, that works. So for today, where would you rate yourself? This is your little pog. We're gonna move it around, and you tell me, are you a 0? Are you a 5, a 10, somewhere in between? How do you feel? How's your curmudgeon?
I think I put myself at a 4 today.
Oh,
pretty good day. Pretty good day.
Okay. All right, that's good. How about you, Bill?
You know what? I'm actually doing pretty good because I wrote for the first time since I released Lady Drakeslayer today. That was almost 5 weeks ago. So I actually did some writing today. So I'm feeling good. So I would say between a 4 and a 5. I can't be mad.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Wow.
Just can't. It was a good day. It was a good day.
That's good.
You just put yourself to 10 because I know how you woke up. I know how you felt this morning.
Yeah, I have the best morning, but I'm not at a 10 anymore. I'm down to like a 9.5. So
okay.
But I'm masking it well, don't you think?
You're doing good.
Yeah. So okay, yeah, we got a wide range of curmudgeon here. We got 2 people in good moods. and me. So
The average is good.
yeah, so the average curmudgeon is going to be right there. Yeah. Yeah, that's Bill, I feel so lonely.
I'm sorry, Dewey. I had a
You-
good day with writing, so I had to be good. Oh, who do we got here?
This is Ziggy.
Hi,
Oh,
Ziggy.
oh, I love Ziggy's diamond, the white diamond on his chest. On him or her?
He's a void with a heart. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So there we go. Okay, all right. I know what I'm dealing with now. Let me stop sharing my screen.
Yeah.
We're in a good mood.
Oh, gee, we should have had Dave on. Look at this. Dave's an 8. Dave is never anything over than a 3, he claims.
You're an 8 because you're tired?
Baby.
Lame. You need to be an 8 because it's coming up from the bowels of your body. It's like,
Let's see what the heck. Okay, so let's go right into it. Dewey, bring up the questions.
oh, we're doing questions already.
Yeah, let's bring it. Let's get it.
Gosh.
Let's get it.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So we're diving right into questions. As I pull up my screen, entire screen number 1. No, screen 3. There we go. Alrighty, so here we go. So we have questions for you. Now, these were written by Bill. I'm not claiming them. But I did put them in. So I've seen them. So how this works is we have a little spinner, and I click the spinner and it spins. And if it lands on a number, we click that number. But if it lands on, I picked a picture of camping because I know that's something, or I've read that's something you're interested in, is camping. Is that correct? I hope
Yes.
so.
Yeah, I love
Okay.
camping.
Awesome. So that's why I made the picture there. And if it lands on that picture, this is something that I regret doing, but I think it's been going well. You get to ask Bill and I a question, like that we have to answer for you
Anything you want.
on the live screen here. I don't think I need to tell you that is, a PG show, because we've had to tell people though in the past it's a PG show because those people. But anyhow, I'm gonna spin it. Are you ready, Sam?
Let's go.
Oh, I'm just going to land on that right away. No, guess not.
Yay, 2. All right. I'm going to remove that number. We're doing the crown. Let's see. If you were an immortal in Highlander, what would your sword type be, and how would you defeat the Kurgan?
All right. I'm immediately on my back foot here. I don't understand the reference.
You've never seen
I
Highlander?
don't understand the reference. Huh?
You've never seen the Highlander?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't watch a lot of movie news, anything like that. So y'all got to help me out a little bit.
Okay.
And I can pick a sword and feeding a monster.
Okay. All right.
You answered this, Bill, because I don't know. I mean, I know what Highlander is. I know it's Sean Connery.
You know what the Highlander is, Dewey?
I do. That's what I'm saying. I know what it is, but I don't know. I don't remember the sword types. I don't. It's been.
It could
like
be any
20...
sword. What would? Okay, so the Highlander is a movie and it was a show, and there are some books where this guy's an immortal, and there's a bunch of immortals, and they have to fight to get this power. And how they fight is they chop their people's heads off, the other immortals' heads off. So they use swords in the movies and the shows. So let's just say, Sam, what type of sword would you use if you were in this type of situation?
If we're decapitating people,
Yes, chopping heads off.
then I would probably go with like a long sword or a bastard sword. Normally I'd pick an arming sword, but I don't feel like it'd be quite heavy enough. So a bigger sword, probably a long sword.
Kind of what the Kurgan uses is a great sword or a bastard sword. What are you grabbing, Dewey? Oh, that ain't gonna do shit.
I hack at your head. I hack. I would choose a claymore.
Meralda would be a good choice.
You know, why not? You know, it's big and heavy and long and sharp, hopefully.
Yeah,
What's
bludgeon
Dave?
him to death.
What's Dave saying? Meralda? What is
That's
that?
the sword from his book.
A good big heavy sword, yeah.
Yeah, big heavy sword.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Okay. Well, what's the Kurgan, Bill?
the
I don't
Kurgan's the
understand.
bad guy in the movie. Let's just skip. Let's ask this. This question failed.
Bill's immediately offended. Bill's like, I regret this already.
This is like when I kept on asking Tim Wolf about Terminator. Like he had no idea what the Terminator was, and I was
No,
like,
was it Tim or Mike?
Well, Tim didn't know the Terminator. Mike didn't know one
Mike's
of the
seen like 2 movies, I think.
Yeah, Mike has seen 2 movies. Yeah, I just went exactly, Alex. I just went up a curmudgeon point.
Oh, okay. Yay. All right. 3. We got number 3. Here we go.
There are no more movie questions, so at least that works.
All right, number 3. If Iman could be transported to any fictional world, which one would he excel in? Which one would he fail miserably in?
Oh, okay.
And for reference, Iman is like the big, burly barbarian type, but he's also kind of a numpty. But he's a lovable numpty.
He's good at one thing. He's only good at 2 things, I guess. Because he's good at fighting and he's good at talking to ladies.
That's true.
But certain types of ladies, anyway. He would fail miserably, I think, like anywhere where he had to do anything political or smart. So if he was in like Westeros, he'd just die immediately. Any kind of setting where it's like a school setting, he would just leave. Where would he do well? I think he might do pretty good in Bill's books. I think he would.
Yeah.
I think he could barbarian his way through and he'd be pretty useful to the smarter people in Bill's books. I think he'd be okay.
Well, describe him to me. I don't know Iman. I'm sorry. So who?
Bill described him pretty well. So he is just pretty much a big kind of barbarian guy. I'm sorry, my cat keeps trying to make it about him.
That's okay.
But
no, love the guy.
He is goofy. He's like good-hearted, but he's just like a kind of a goofy barbarian guy. Been a mercenary forever and a day. It's just like what he's always done.
Okay.
He
Bill said
loves women. Like
yeah, he hits on all women.
Oh, okay. Bill said the word numpty. I know I've seen that word thrown around. I don't really know what a numpty is.
Kind of just like a giant goofball.
He's like tap on his head and it just echoes.
Yeah, he's kind of like a goober.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. All right. Well, let me stop sharing then. We have 4 more questions for you, but I'd like to get into a little bit of your books if we can, and talking about you and some of the things that make you who you are. So, first of all, I want to ask, like, you told us about what drew you to writing, like your whole D&D background and everything. When you started writing, and Bill can probably answer this. Bill could probably tell me this because he's so close to your writing as a critique.
I'm not going to tell you anything, Dewey. This is for Sam to tell you.
But no, I'm just saying that there's kind of that unique dynamic here, and that Bill has that back lens. But with that said, are you a plot driven author? Are you a character driven author? Like how would you describe yourself as a writer with these books?
I'd say probably. And that's the stuff that I prefer to read too, is more of the plot driven stuff versus the character driven stuff. Like, not that I dislike character, but I really like the big huge problems and the big quests, and in the epic fantasy stuff. That's like my favorite things. So I think that's how the Messianic trilogy, what I'm working on right now, is pretty plot heavy. It was weird to step out of that and do the fantasy and have that be more character driven. Very, very strange. Not sure I nailed it yet. We'll see. We'll start reading it. But
do you see that with current writers that there's a trend to more character driven writing, or it's because plot driven? I mean, that's the fantasy staple.
Bread and butter, yeah.
That's the bread and butter. But I'm noticing with a lot of writers, they do a lot of the character driven writing, and it leans into romantasy and all of that. And like, have you noticed that trend lately? Or
yeah, and I would call it a trend. It's just like anything else. It's also right there along with the trend in first person POV. I loathe.
Oh, whoa. You don't like first person POV?
I do not, and I'm actually writing in it right now in my draft, and I hate it, and I'm change the whole thing before it's over with. I can't stand it. But
so wait, with the new series, you're writing it in first person?
Not the cozy, but
that made me go down a few right there. There I am now. I love that. I don't like first person point of view.
I don't like it. And
I think it's
I'm writing an epic fantasy, and there's like a quest for a magic weapon and all this, but I have a romantic subplot in this one, and like all these romantasy books and all this, like all these character driven stuff, and everybody was wanting to read first person POV. I actually have had people stop reading my book because it's not first person POV, and I was like, okay, but so let me try. I hate it so much.
Yeah,
but I think I think this is just a trend right now, like you were saying. It's a lot of people find it easier to put themselves in the story with that. I think when it's first person and when it's character driven, and I don't know that a lot of like. I don't want to make like a big generalization, but
please do.
But I'm going to, I guess. I don't know that a lot of people are reading really critically as like the vast majority in this stuff that's like super popular right now. So if it's just like really easy for them to get into, that's what people are reaching for.
Well, you read Fourth Wing, right? You read Fourth Wing, right?
I did.
And that's first person, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's like it's easier for non-fantasy normal fantasy readers to get into because it's the first person. You're kind of you're focused on one character. You're not like expansive with multiple POVs and all that stuff. So I think you're on to a point there, and it's just it feels like a trend, and I hope it's a trend because we need to get back to the big fat tomes that are the classics, in my opinion.
It's bringing more readers into fantasy, which is great.
True.
And
True.
there's people that picked up like Fourth Wing, and like I can understand why people love it because it was like really fast to read and you can just breeze right through it. I have a lot of points of contention about it, but it is very easy to go through. But hopefully then they pick up something that's a little more on the fantasy side, a little less on the romance side, and then they slowly just come over to the dark side, and then they're just reading grimdark and fantasy. Hopefully, we'll see.
It's funny because last week the guest we had on was she had a book about dragons. I asked which dragon world would she want to go into, like this dragon go into, and she said the Fourth Wing, and Dewey was eating a gummy bear and he almost choked on the gummy bear talking about the Fourth Wing. So it's kind of funny that we brought it up 2 weeks in a row.
I don't like romantasy. I just don't. Yes, and I don't mean that that's a generalization. I'm sure there's some great ones out there. I'm sure somewhere. And but for me, it doesn't connect. Just like first person point of view doesn't connect when reading. I find first person or first POV to be like watching TV. You can watch it. It's like watching. It's very easy to digest. It's also easy
Exactly.
to jump into the role of one person versus the actual story and multi points of view. And it's a simpler place to enter into a story. And that's not saying that's bad. It's just also not everyone's taste, and it's not mine. I don't. But I'm glad to
Yeah.
hear that there's one other person, because Bill and I have been that way for. I mean, Bill and I have talked about this before forever. About first POV, and we just. Yeah. But so that's to say that none of your books are first POV. I'm assuming, right?
Not yet.
Before
Like
we
I
get
said,
to the
this one probably won't stay that way because it drives me insane.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't if it drives you crazy, you can't do it that way. It's got to work for you. But I do want to ask you before we get into some more of Bill's questions here about, since it's fantasy, since it's D&D derived, kind of sort of, there's magic. What's the magic system? Because I get a sense that there's a pretty cool magic system in your books.
So the magic users are called weavers, and they are gifted at birth by the goddess seamstress to manipulate the threads of existence. And they send weavers out to look for the children that have like that aptitude. They take them and train them in it's kind of a magic school, but it's kind of a temple because they're working for the church of the seamstress. They're called the gatherings. They're not called the churches. But then they can reach out and like grab the threads of the air and like out a gale and knock their opponents over and things like that.
But
So
there's other stuff behind the scenes with all that stuff that Sam's not mentioning, but that's spoilers in the other half of the book series.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want spoilers, but it sounds like a really cool magic system with.
But you're also forgetting, Sam, what Leor's special gift is. What she
It's
can
kind
do.
of related, and it's also a spoiler.
Yeah. Okay. I guess so.
Okay. So weavers manipulate threads of reality. So do they make them into tapestries? Like, how does that work?
Well, the thread, they call it the fabric. So it's like it is already in a tapestry and they can see it. So they like grab onto a thread and they like flick it or roll it and then try to arc it to do what they want it to do in that way. So they can't just like move that over here unless they can move it through all those other threads that are along the way.
That's so cool.
Answer?
Yeah, no, yeah, that sounds really cool. It reminds me a little bit of the Matrix almost. Like, how in the Matrix
all the numbers and stuff.
You see all the numbers and everything. I mean, but that's the sci-fi, obviously. But that's how I'm visualizing that, like the world of threads, and very cool. All right, so I guess we need to ask some more questions, but all right.
Yeah, go for it.
Hold on, I should have had it pulled up. Let's see. It's hard to do two things.
I've never done. Technology.
It's hard to do technology, but I clicked the screen thing. Okay, so here we go. Let's see what we got. All right, please.
Money, no whammies?
No whammies, number 4. All right. I don't remember number 4.
I don't either.
Oh boy. You get asked to play violin for any movie, TV show, or video game orchestra. Which one is it?
Oh. All right, so I'm still obsessed with soundtrack Baldur's Gate 3. So if I could play with the orchestra that was like recording the soundtrack for Baldur's Gate 3, I'd lose my mind. That would be great.
Wow. So give us some backstory on this. As you play violin, like
I'm a beginner violinist. I've been playing for about 3 years, so it's not
okay,
like I'm particularly good or have been playing since I came out of the womb or anything like that. But I am kind of obsessed with it. Like, aside from books, I'm obsessed with violin at this point.
I mean, no, to be fair though, you taught yourself to do it within
Mhm.
like 6 months or something
Oh,
like that.
I'm still teaching myself to do it. I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know
I
if
know,
I'm
but I
ever
mean,
gonna.
like the fact that you just decided to pick it up and do it like right a couple of years ago, I just remember when you told me, I was like, that's effing awesome.
so do you? What music do you play? Like what genre? Like
I play a lot of like fantasy movie and game scores and stuff. Is that
okay,
the music I've always liked? I'm trying to learn fiddle stuff.
ooh,
It's really hard for me because it's very fast.
yes.
But and I actually joined a community orchestra this year, and we're playing a lot of space themed stuff. So we're doing stuff from Star Wars and Star Trek and
Oh,
Interstellar, which is really cool.
Ooh.
yeah. Wow, I love John Williams, Jerry Goldsmith. Those Star Trek themes, the motion picture is one of my favorite soundtracks.
Yeah, we're doing
So,
stuff from Into Darkness.
oh, you're doing the newer
Like,
movies. Okay.
really cool.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Wow.
we have the newer movies, and we've also got like a medley that a composer kind of like squashed together for us of like old theme from the show.
Very cool.
That's
So,
cool.
it's been cool. John Williams is a genius, but I'm convinced he hates violins
Oh,
because he writes the most difficult stuff for the violin section. It just looks like you look at the page and it's just there's so many notes that makes your eyes cross.
oh my gosh.
I don't have any music ability, so I can't imagine.
All right.
I'm
I
just back there
accidentally
like
clicked.
playing really softly, like please nobody hear me because I'm about to do everything wrong.
I accidentally pressed the spin the wheel and it happened to land on the camping one, which means that you get to ask us a question. You can ask Bill a question.
I actually knew
come up with two.
immediately. I knew immediately what I was going to ask for both of you guys.
Okay.
And that was, I need a Tana 2 update.
Oh, it's in the
Shall you,
works.
Dewey?
Yeah, it's in the works. We're working on it.
So
A more
long story
specific
short,
Tana
we
2
have
update.
a 91-page outline that can basically translate into the second story.
But see, here's the thing. Is apparently I'm something called a plotter.
Yes.
Same.
I don't agree with that terminology because it seems to have a pejorative. People tend to view it as, oh, plotters. Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, so I don't tend to think of it as plot, more as I'm just getting all my thoughts down on the page and creating a world. I'm giving birth to a world. And so, yes, yeah, Alex, exactly. It's not really a plot so much that it is a story light, like it's a light version. So all we had to do is actually go in and flush it all out. It's in the works. But I think
People
it'll be
call that like the zero draft.
Yeah, basically.
That.
But roundabout answer is we're hoping by this fall.
Yeah, hoping.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'll be glad after this month just to get back to normal and get to writing.
You'll be happy to know, Sam, that we decided to make this a 5-book series instead of a 3-book series.
That's fun.
So we're going to expand a lot of things.
It'll be done by the time I retire.
Well, yeah, I mean,
literally. Yeah. So, well, okay. That's a great question. Thank you, Sam. I appreciate that. Um, but we're gonna ask you one more question.
Yeah, we're gonna get you back. Oh, I think this is the one that's gonna get you back.
Okay. All right. Oh, look, it's like a Pokeball. Okay. Put you on the spot. Of the umpteen drafts you read, which one of Bill's was the worst? Be brutal, all in good. Be brutal. Forget the all in good fun part. Be brutal.
You can remember them all. That's the sad part too.
I've been reading Bill drafts for a while. I don't know. None of them I'm not trying to just butter anybody up here, but none of them stand out as being like, oh, this was bad. So.
Well, what was your least favorite version of the drafts then? Because there was a lot of different changes that you read.
There was a lot of changes. If I had to pick one, maybe the first version of God's Blood Tragedy before you meshed the other book in there with it, and it became what it is now. Only because now I can't picture it that way at all anymore, because it's so clearly supposed to be that it is now. That I'm like, how was it never like this
not a very good draft. The first one I think you read was the steampunk one, right?
The first one I read, there was like a romance.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. So that's why I wasn't like,
funny,
oh, that
funny
one was
part
the worst
about
one.
that is I'm gonna take those plot beats and I'm gonna make that into a different story. It's gonna be romance focused.
They weren't bad. So
it's not the same story anymore. That's the crazy part.
No, it's not, and it feels weird to like look back on it, because it's like now it's just like this big, huge like, like this is what it was supposed to be, kind of thing. I don't know. It's the evolution of story, like seeing somebody's process, or like talking to people about their process, and seeing how like it started off like this and now it's like way off over here somewhere, is so interesting to me, and how everybody gets there in a different way.
Yep.
So, and like Bill's the overachiever over here is like, I have this epic fantasy series and I have this epic fantasy series, and now I have one even bigger epic fantasy series. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Like, God.
The story I wrote today, do you remember when I had like the idea of it going to be like a 9-book saga? Do you remember that little, like that short phase that was like maybe 2 or 3 months? I was like, it's going to be this long epic saga.
I was like, that's a lot, but okay.
Yeah, idiot. But the short story I worked on today was one of like the stories that was going to be in there, and I'm like, no, let's just take that little pluck that I did and make it a short story.
That wasn't brutal. I was, fine. I'll take it. So
put that cog back up to 8 then on that answer.
No, I'm still feel better that I'm not the only one that doesn't like first POV. But
we can make you feel even better and talk about how terrible first person present is.
Ew. No.
Because that's the new trend in romance books, and that makes me throw up in my mouth.
Ew, me too. Just talking about that makes me sick. Ew. That's like children's books. So
see, that's what it feels like to me too.
I mean, really, you do that in a child's book. But with that said, you hinted on editing. So you're not only an author, but you're an editor, like with actual editor that services with services and stuff, right? Or I mean, I want you to plug yourself. That way, maybe you'll get some people for the 2 people that are watching. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah, I do freelance editing. I'll do a developmental edit, like copy line edit or proofread. I've got everything priced at about like half of what most freelance editors charge because I really want to work with indies. Like I want to make it easier for indies to get editors because I know it's expensive. Rude, Dave.
This is why we make fun of Dave.
So that's honorable because you're helping the indie community then, and so I personally appreciate that. But have you got to have some stories? I guess you can't divulge anything, but has there ever been an edit that you've received that you're just like, oh nope, or
you were breaking up a lot. I lost half of that. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I was saying, has there ever, as an editor, has there ever been one that, and you don't have to divulge like names, but has there ever been one where you're like, oh, nope, I don't think so.
Yeah. I actually don't have a name to divulge in this, and I don't feel terrible about talking about it, but no, not Dave. It's been a while since I edited those books, but they were a person reached out to me who had hired a ghostwriter to write like billionaire or mafia romance. They needed an editor, and those were horrible.
Oh,
So I did not in those, but it was so clear. Like that type of book is like the target audience is women. It was so clear that whoever they had hired was first of all a man, and secondly a man who doesn't like women.
Oh.
Like not in like a like in a detests women like kind of way. And I was like, you gotta take this and you gotta scrap it and start over.
That's crazy. Do you see any coming in? Do you see any edits, offers coming in that you read it and you're like, oh wait, this definitely AI or something? Like, have you ran into anything like that lately?
Not yet. No. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Thank goodness. And I've been I lucky in that regard, I guess, but I hate to think that I feel like if somebody is using AI to write it, they're probably also using AI to edit it.
Yeah, that's true.
At which point it's going to be terrible because you can click the spell check on any document and see it's going to come up with like totally out of pocket stuff. So yeah, I've got real people, which is great.
Fortunately, yeah.
I remember when you started, you were getting like nothing but romance stuff. Are you finally starting to get in like normal fantasy SFF, like your bread and butter that you know?
Yes, thank goodness. And I'm like, I'll still edit romance because there's nothing wrong innately with the romance genre. If it's a good romance book, it's a good romance book. But I love getting fantasy stuff, like having clients come towards me with like fantasy novels, or like I've edited like a speculative like alternate reality thing recently, and that was really interesting. I have a friend who has me do her urban fantasy, and so it's been great getting to like be in like my little niche more than weird ghost written romance novels.
And that's kind of what led you to write your cozy, though, isn't it? A little bit.
No, I think that was really I just loved Legends and Latte so much that I was like, I want to write one of these, and then I finally came up with an idea for it a couple of years later. But I've read more cozy fantasy since then, and I like to read them after I read like a big fantasy novel that just like wrecks me. Like either kill everybody or the ending is like the kind of stuff that Bill writes.
Yeah.
And you just close the book and then you want to throw it across the room, but if you, it's gonna something because it's like that big.
Yeah, you're gonna kill all your cats or whatever. You know, the dogs are gonna get hit. You know, you don't want to do that.
There's gonna be an injury. So then it's cool to then like pick up a little cozy fantasy, and you're still in a fantasy world, but it's like
Far
the biggest
different.
problem is somebody to come buy coffee.
It seems like cozy is making its statement. You know, there's a lot of cozy out there now, and I think have you? I'm sorry, that's funny.
I'll take that title.
Have you read any recent cozy books that you would recommend?
Recently, which one? I read Cursed Cocktails here a while back, and that one was pretty cute. Well, they're all just supposed to be cute, but that one's about an elf that's like he's retiring and opening a bar. And there's like a little magical creature, and that one was just good. I mean, I like it. If you want to read something chill like that, I thought that one was good.
Can't remember the author's name, but I've seen that cover a lot. Gosh, why can't I think of his name or her name? Oh,
Well, speaking of, go ahead, Sam. Go ahead, Sam.
I was gonna say the one that keeps popping up for me is the "You Can't Spell Treason Without T" book, and I don't know that necessarily that it's marketed as cozy, and I think the author calls it cozy, but there's like a big battle with dragons, which I mean is cool, but I don't think that's cozy. So, if you want something cozy adjacent.
So
quaint creatures. That sounds cute.
I was going to. If it's
is by our buddy Andrew D. Meredith. I hear that one's a great one. I haven't dove into it yet, but Sunset Sovereign is the we had her on last week. Laura Huey's her name. This one was fabulous. I think that would be right up your alley, Sam. Sunset Sovereign. It's a Sunset Sovereign, a dragon memoir is what it's called. It's really good. Really enjoyable.
Add them to my ever-growing list.
I'm going to throw it on the screen here. So this is the cozy that Bill alluded to. Cover reveal coming up soon, right?
Yes.
Super excited about that. Pre-order announcement May 1st, 2025. That's pretty
coming right up.
Right around the corner. So where can folks can get this on? They can follow you on Twitter. They can follow you. I got this on Threads. So you're on Threads, Twitter.
I'm on Twitter, but I like Twitter. So I'm like, I pop in there like once a month, and I'm like, oh, this was a mistake, and then I leave. Threads. I'm post mostly on Instagram and TikTok at this point, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
Twitter. You don't go, Dewey.
I don't go. I need to go to Instagram more, I guess, or Insta, as the kids say.
As the kids
these days. Alrighty. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm super excited about that. But they can keep track of it on Insta and then the TikTok and and Threads. Which I didn't even know existed until I started doing some research. Like, what is this thing? Oh, it's like a Twitter.
Yeah, it's the meta version of it.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of like book people kind of got mad at Twitter and ended up on Threads. Like a lot of it.
Because when you open because when you open Twitter, it like makes your ulcers start to flare up.
Every time. Like, I don't know how it ever decided I wanted to see any kind of news or politics or anything when I open that app, but it is always like the first thing. And I'm just like,
click.
Yeah. The man in charge is the one that did that. So that's, thank you.
All right. Let's go back to our Pokeball
Yeah,
Here we
bring up the
go.
Pokeball. Let's not go into politics.
Oh no, we don't discuss politics. Nope. All right, is that a 9 or a 6? Oh, it's a 6. All right, so you got the candelabra. Candelabra. All right. Oh, wait, nope. There we go. You're dying, and a mage gives you a potion to survive, but you have to give up one hobby forever. Which do you give up? Violin or music? Books, both reading and writing? Horse riding or fishing?
Can I pick a hobby that's not on the list? Because I'm a chronic hobby collector.
No. It's got to hurt to save your life. It's got to
what?
hurt. It's got to hurt you because it's saving your life.
This is so terrible. This is the meanest question out of all of them so far.
I didn't write these.
I would lean, as much as I hate it, towards maybe horseback riding, because it doesn't say I'd have to not have horses. So I could still cuddle them. And so that's honestly where I'm at this point, because like all of my horses are retired anyway. So
wait, so you have horses? Like, I didn't know that.
I have two. Yeah.
That's
How
cool.
is your horse doing after that accident?
Oh, where he tried to off himself? He's okay. Yeah. That's why he's retired, but he's mostly comfortable. For everybody, he tried to fight another horse through a fence and almost cut his leg off.
And it was gnarly.
It was the worst thing I ever dealt with. But he does have like he messed up the muscle and tendon and stuff, and he's not like, he's no longer an athlete, but he's comfortable to be a retired pasture, and not aspired to be anyway because he's lazy. So
so do you have them like on your land, or do you have like a?
They're at my mom's property.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any other outdoor pets like that, like goats?
Dude, you might as well just ask question number 1 first. Just go to question number 1 because
I'm asking my own. Fine.
But this leads into it.
I'll ask you question number 1.
Trust me, it leads into what you were asking.
Okay. All right. I'll forgive you. If money and space were no options, which animal would you love to add to your menagerie of pets? So I guess I forgot this question. Yes.
Told you.
I do the menagerie. Right now is 2 dogs, 2 cats, and 2 horses. On Friday, we're getting quail.
Oh, we're getting a quail?
We're getting 6 quail.
Oh my gosh.
Or eggs. And because they're stinking cute. So the menagerie grows in. If I could, oh gosh. So I would love a mini donkey because they're stupid. I would take anything. Who am I getting? I'd take anything. Like, I'm one of those people that like would go to a national park and there's a bear and it would sleepy, or just I would pet it. If you follow the on Instagram, it's like national parks, the National Park Service's official Instagram account. They're just constantly making, like, they're trolls. They troll everybody. Like, just a picture of a bison, and they're like, it's friend shaped, but it's not a friend. And those posts are for me because I would try to pet the bison. I would have just anything.
You would be one of those people that we would see running from the bison and getting up on their car, like at Yellowstone.
They'd be like, Florida woman tries to pet bear, dies in horrible mauling accident.
That sounds like my wife as well.
You know, if I had,
why we're friends, yeah.
If I had a farm, I would have chickens. I love chickens. Would you have chickens?
I've had chickens, and chickens are fun.
Yeah, chickens are fun. Like, especially if you get good, smart chickens,
Wolves and
Yeah, but
foxes are definitely friend-shaped. Everything
right,
is friend-shaped,
everything.
honestly.
Do you have
But
any kind
chickens
of
are cool.
do you have any kind of
Everybody loves chickens.
animal phobia? Like, is there an animal that you just won't go near, or and that it can include insects and birds and fish and like, is there something you don't like that's an animal?
Leeches? You said insects. I guess a leech is not an insect.
Whatever it
I
is. I
don't
don't even know what it is.
I don't
Is it
either. That's pretty much it. Everything else I'm pretty fine with. But those I just don't like.
so things that attach to your skin and suck blood, you don't like?
Well, they go
Okay.
under your skin, dude. They don't just bite you. They're like, ugh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
gross.
And then they emit a poison into your skin, and it's
Do
really
they? You're
awful.
no. No,
Yeah,
you're
they
kidding.
do.
It like numbs you. Like
It's to numb you. It's the
Yeah.
same with mosquitoes, but the reason why you get an itch from them is because they put a poison into your skin.
Yeah,
And yeah,
I'm
I don't like
immune to that at
mosquitoes.
this point, I think.
All right,
There's so many
so I
mosquitoes
guess
here.
that answered the question. Oh yeah, Florida. So I do have another question. It's kind of related to the menagerie of pets, maybe. But you like camping, you like fishing, you like
Mhm.
animals. Do you camp a lot? Before I ask my question, like, do you have a chance to get out and go camping quite a bit there in
Do I do what?
Florida? Do
Oh,
you have a
camping in
chance
Florida.
to? Yeah, do you have a chance to do it often?
No, and that's the thing. Like you could go, but the problem is like most of the time during the year you're gonna be sweating to death, and mosquitoes are gonna be towed away. So we have like this very small window of our like the two little cold fronts that we get where you can actually camp in Florida,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it's like you have to wait for it to have a good freeze so that the mosquitoes like stop for 5 minutes, and then you can actually be like you're not laying in your tent just like a starfish melting.
So I have some friends there in Florida, and one of them in early April went to this big Bigfoot convention in Ocala, Florida, and I was wondering because Florida is a hotspot for the skunk ape or Bigfoot.
Skunk ape, yep.
Have you ever seen one? Have you ever seen anything weird and odd out there while you're camping?
No, I haven't, but I do have a skunk ape story. It was not mine.
Oh,
How long ago has it been now? 15 years ago, something like that. I worked as a vet technician, and the vet that I worked for grew up near the Green Swamp, which is not far from here. And he swore up and down that he saw the skunk ape when he was like a teenager and was hunting
ooh.
with his friends. Swore it chased him, the whole thing, and he
Oh
was
wow.
serious.
Well, so do you believe that there might be the Florida Bigfoot?
I think it would be fun if we did have something like that, but there's not terribly many wild places left in Florida at this point, which is a shame because there's just so much development here now. So I
Hmm.
don't know where they would be that we wouldn't have found it at this point. So it'd be cool,
That's a
but I don't
shame.
think it's likely. I think it's more likely that there's something weird in the ocean. So.
Oh, like a
That's
Leviathan.
that
Yeah.
would be cool. Or Meg.
Or a megalodon. Oh my god. I just saw Meg 2.
That movie was fantastic. I'm not gonna lie.
It was awesome.
It's so much fun. You can't go wrong with Jason Statham punching sharks.
No.
I mean, come on.
No. He was not just any shark.
No,
It's the
big
megalodon.
big shark.
Oh my gosh. Well, Bill, do you have any more questions?
No, that was good. I was that was a good question you didn't want to answer, and I like your loopholes. Very nice. Good job, Sam, getting out of that. answering the questions. But last second, do you have anything you want to say about your books or your upcoming books or anything you want to plug before we go?
Well, I think we covered just about all of it at this point. We talked about Anagovia. We talked about editing. The cozy coming up is about Bard. She does play violin because that's the instrument I know and I'm obsessed with. And it's got like a cozy murder mystery, which I think is pretty fun. So,
well,
when do you think that'll be out?
I'm thinking September. I haven't an exact day yet, but I think September.
And when do I get to read this?
I'm finishing this draft. I'm going to go through it one more time, and it's not very long, so it shouldn't take me very long to go through it again. And then I'll send it.
Yay!
Awesome. And in the description for this video, I have a link to your Squarespace. You have a Squarespace site, right? And so I put the link there, and it has all the important stuff to be able to get your books. And you have a store on Amazon. Alex wants to know if you're currently open for editing.
In May. Yeah, I'm booking in May.
So booking through May. And again, she does 3 different types of editing. So copy, dev, and proof, right?
Yep.
So 3 different tiers, 3 different levels of skill. She's awesome. Trust me. I know.
Oh, well, thank you, Sam, for coming on. It's been awesome talking to you.
This was fun.
Yeah, this was great. I'm glad we finally get together after all these years. Do it again sometime. Talk more books. When your cozy comes out, we can bring you back on.
Yeah, and we want to do that.
Glad to do it.
We want to help you with your cover reveal if we can.
Yes. Yeah.
I would like that. That'd be good.
Yay. So buy Sam's book. These books are fantastic. If you like old school fantasy with D&D vibes, with cool, fun characters, cool magic system, and amazing beasties, especially in this book, there's some cool creatures. Go get Sam's book. Sam Parrish is her name. So thank you for joining, everybody. Sam, thank you for joining us. Thank you for everyone in the chat. It was awesome. And we'll see you next time on a Schmudgeon or Curmudgeon. Now we got to wave awkwardly while we end.
Bye.